Hey everyone, we are Alex and Tina. Since 2019, we started a travel blog named The Daily Packers, and since 2023, a YouTube channel in order to journalize all our adventure. We are a couple from France and Serbia who met in China back in 2014. Together, we traveled to more than 40 countries. In April 2023, we spent 3 weeks in Vietnam, where we visited the north and the center of the country. This video will be about Sapa, where we spent 4 days with transportation. Let's start this vlog by how to get to Sapa. For your information, Sapa is located 324 km north of Hanoi. The best way to get there are by van, buses or train. We opted for the van option, which seemed to be the most comfortable and the one where Tina has less chance of being sick due to the pregnancy. We booked our van transfer online via A21, a travel agency we found on Google. They had clear information, schedule and price, so we contacted them on WhatsApp and booked our return tickets to Sapa. We opted for the middle seats, which are a tiny bit more expensive but more comfortable. The van arrived around 6:40 am. We were the first one on it, put our bag in the rear and then took our seat. There are 4 seats in the middle, they are quite comfortable, have bottle holder, USB and light. We then picked up other people and by 7 am the van was full and ready to go. At that time we received a small bag with water, sweet bread and wet wipe. At 8:30 we made a first break of about 25 minutes. When we went out of the van, we received a free drink voucher. We then got a coffee and a ginger tea. That was the strongest coffee I've ever drinken. We bought some fresh mango, ate breakfast, used the toilets, which are surprisingly clean, and walked around. I also took a peek at the sleeper bus. The one at checkout was quite fancy, had private cabin, but was a bit stuffy. Also some other ones that were more basic, older and not as clean. We made our second and last break at 11:37 for about 20 minutes. It felt nice going out of the van as it was becoming stuffy in it. The second station was more basic and old-fashioned, but again there was food, a toilet and some store. Once back on the van, we asked to turn on the AC, which wasn't that easy as globally Vietnamese are super friendly but have poor English. We kept on towards Sapa, but the road became slopey and curvy going up the mountain. At that time, Tina started feeling quite bad. But she made it. We arrived in Sapa, where we were dropped off at the cathedral a bit before 1 p.m. As we started to get hungry, we went for lunch at Good Morning Vietnam, a nice restaurant located 400 meters from the cathedral. There we ordered eggplant tofu and vegetable with rice, as well as a tiger beer. People there were quite friendly, showed us things to do around Sapa and at the end even ordered a taxi for us. We arrived 10 minutes later in our accommodation, Sapa Rosy house, where we received a welcome drink and discussed with the reception what to do. Upon checking, we also booked a one-day hiking tour for the next day and rented a scooter for the same afternoon and our second full day here. We then discovered our room, which was a small bungalow with a stunning view. Around 3 p.m. we got our scooter and went to visit Sapa, which was only 10 minutes away. There we parked for free next to the church. We then hung around town, visiting the church, the train station, which is also a huge shopping center, and the street around. Sapa is actually quite a small town with only a few streets. but they are well worth visiting. Along the way, we bought some snacks before continuing with our journey. After another 10-minute driving, we arrive at CatCat Village, known for its natural beauty and Hmong culture and tradition located within rice fields. It's apparently a touristic place, especially for locals who come there wearing traditional clothes. CatCat is quite huge and stands on a hill, so the road go up and down. Along the way, there are houses that can be visited, performances taking place, and animals all around. As we were there around 4:30 p.m., it wasn't that crowded at all, but during the day it's apparently insane. You can easily spend half a day there, so if you have more time, you can also visit a flower garden, a waterfall, a forest, a sheep garden, a cactus garden, and make a stop for a drink or some food. And you can also see local people wearing traditional clothes taking pictures, which is one of the main reasons why it's so popular for Vietnamese. We rushed a bit at the end as we were tired and wanted to get back to our accommodation. There, we had dinner. We opted for the fried rice with vegetable, pumpkin soup and a beer, which was nice to end the day. We then just went back to our bungalow and rested for the next day. Our hiking trip will only start at 9:30 p.m, so we had time to enjoy a simple but tasty breakfast made of fried eggs, fruits, crackers, coffee and tea. And later on to chill on our terrace, where we tried instant Vietnamese coffee, which wasn't good at all to me, but the view was stunning and the farmer popped by with his buffalo, so it was quite nice to see. We then met our guide, Mimi. She was our age and from the Hmong people, which are a local tribe of the valley. With her, we will hike through the villages in the valley, the bamboo forest and a waterfall. The hike was breathtaking and in the end we were lucky enough as it didn't rain. Unfortunately, we didn't get a clear sky either, which was present 2 days ago, but mostly in spring the weather is cloudy. We loved the fact that the hike wasn't crowded and that Mimi wasn't taking us through the main route taken by most tourists. We also loved all the animals we saw around: chickens, ducks, pigs, buffaloes and so on. At some point we made a new friend, a dog that followed us for a while. We also met some local girls that gave Tina some flour. It was nice to experience how locals were living in this region and we got to see many kids around.
For the cloud.
For the what?
Fabrics and after the
Fabrics.
clothes.
And for my kid, this cloud like this.
Okay.
People call this for the hemp.
Hemp.
I show you the plant later, okay?
Yeah, alright.
Now people really do one by one very longer like this. They have to cooking with the ash like this. Have to change color. They bring it to the river for washing the ash go away. Now they keep it for dry. Might be very dry. They have to cook in second time with water with the wok. You know what? Big wok. Finish. They have to use the stone or wood for moving, make it keep it for dry. After very dry, they have to use take it out again for weaving. Weaving make it for fabric like this finish. That make from the color indigo.
Oh, right.
Or black color like this. After black color, people make it a shiny color. Not shiny color, not forever. Shiny color only for couple days for New Year. And so you see this lady here, this woman here, she do sewing. Sewing make it a belt.
Yeah, to
this
make
for
it
the
like
New
that.
Year. And 1 month later, like June or July, August, this tree little bit high like this. If people want to mind the color, the catching all tree a leaf, put to the big bottle water. That pour cold water with this leaf. Keep it like 2 nights, 3 days, change color. This leaf all brown color. Had the juice come to the water. My water really green. And they had to use people take this leaf. That you just water with the limestone. You know the limestone.
Okay.
Yes.
Limestone. That pour a little bit limestone put it together with the water indigo. My water all brown color. They had to move it, jump in water for a couple minutes, 25 or 30 minutes. Water change. Water all black color. And limestone very black color with the indigo color. That keep the bottle water for a couple hours later, like 5 or 6 hours later. Water change. Water like really water pink. It had the limestone or black color with the indigo. They had to use the ash, you know ash, fire ash. If people need to pour a lot of ash, pour to the orange bag, to the basket, that pour cold water can to the ash. People need to the ash water. People look now need to dirty ash water. People need to like clean ash water. People look in the ash water a little bit red or brown color. That take it the ash water pour all together now the bottle. If people take it the limestone or indigo black color indigo pour all together with the ash water. They keep it for 10 days or 1 week later. Have the blue color water coming out again. People take from the frog red or black color like this. Yeah. So you know people come and try a black Hanoi. I have this plant. And like we make it my Tunisian plant or black color. People come and try black Hanoi.
At some point we passed by a local house and Mimi asked if we could see what they were doing. At this time we learned more about the process of making clothes. Hmong people make their own clothes from hemp and then tin them using local plants. All their clothes must either be black or blue, and while they are outside of their house, they must be wearing them. One of the process is to make thread of hemp. Tina even got to try it, but it isn't easy at all. There, we also found some super cute puppies that were hanging around. Hiking with Mimi was super nice. She was extremely friendly and even took lots of video and pictures of us. She even liked to be on them as she is herself on TikTok. She also told us many interesting things about the local tradition and answered all our questions, and we had a lot. Some of the things we learned were, in the past, the big bamboo were used as piping, but were replaced by plastic pipe. The best time to hike is from June to September, which is summer. At this time you are sure to get blue sky. But it's also warmer and had more rain, but it's only shower, generally lasting 1 to 3 hours. The rice produced here is not sold, it's mostly for their own consumption, and if a family produces a lot, they will sell it to other families. She also told us about marriage's tradition. She got married at 16 years old, and she is now 33 years old. It was an arranged wedding. The groom and his family choose the bride, and then they go to a shaman, who will read chicken feet. If the shaman sees good fortune, the wedding goes on. If no, it stops. Once they are wed, they do not wear rings, but necklaces, and their main religion are Catholicism and shamanism. A few times along the trek, a bunch of kids came to us. Unlike our first encounter with kids where Tina got flour, the other time they were trying to sell us some stuff. Mimi weren't paying much attention to them, and we therefore just followed her, and even though the kids were persistent and followed us a bit. But ultimately they stopped. At the end of morning we arrived in the first village. There people were planting all type of vegetable and local kids were having fun in the river. There were also a lot of buffaloes there. The reason is that some locals that don't have modern equipment are still using them for farming rice or even for their milk. At some point, a lady also started hiking with us. We first thought it was a friend of Mimi, but in the end, she was just going the same direction as us. Mimi knew her, but they weren't friends, and she told us that she will probably try to sell us some local handcraft once we arrive at our lunch place. Well, which she did, but unfortunately for her, we weren't really that interested. Along the way, we also find some store where we got 2 mangoes, which were super delicious.
Banana. Little one. Even like 2 or 3 days, and this flower all broken. It have banana here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lunchtime!
And this time.
And your time for Alex!
And water for me.
Yeah. We had lunch in one of Mimi's friends. We had bamboo sprouts, cabbage, green beans, rice and vegetable spring roll. We told her that we didn't eat meat and she organized accordingly. The food was delicious and honestly we couldn't finish everything. At the end of lunch we also got to try some local rice wine that she called happy wine. It isn't too strong and it's only 25 degrees of alcohol. It was nice. After an hour of break, we kept on walking. We were almost at the end of our day hike. A bit later, we passed by the bamboo forest, where locals can freely chop wood for their need. We also saw Mimi's sister and her house, and at the end, the waterfall, which was unfortunately dry. Globally, the hike wasn't too hard. We took 6.5 hours with 1 hour lunch break and lots of stops for photos, video, drones. The 2 fly through the drones, children were there and looked at it. They really enjoyed it and I believe it was their first time seeing it. We were back at our accommodation by 4 p.m, but the hike finished 20 minutes earlier than that and we took a taxi back. All was included in the hiking tour, the guide, lunch and the return transfer. Once back to our accommodation, we took a nice shower and ordered 2 watermelon juice. We soured them with bananas from our accommodation and mangoes. It was super delicious and felt so good after a full day hiking. Plus, we can't get bored of those views. Later on, I did some yoga and stretches, and to finish the day, we went for dinner, and that was enough for today. We woke up to a cloudy day, so we took it easy and went for breakfast. This morning, we opted for a traditional breakfast and tried a pho, a Vietnamese soup dish consisting of broth, rice noodles and herbs, as we took the option without meat. It was served with small bananas, crackers, fresh juice and tea coffee. We then hopped on our scooter and left for a small road trip. But first, we had to refuel. We stopped at the first shop selling gas and asked for a big bottle of fuel, which should be enough for the day. We then drove around 35 minutes toward the Love Waterfall, a 100-meter high waterfall. At the entrance of the site there was a free parking and a ticket office. We then followed a beautiful small path for 15 minutes, enjoyed some viewpoints along the small trek and finally arrived at the waterfall. It was small waterfall, but nice enough to see and super muddy as it was misty. Lina! Our next stop was 10 minutes away. It was the Tam Tong Pass, also called Heaven's Gate. On this road you have a super scenic view of the valley and mountains surrounding it. As it was still super misty and cloudy, we just stopped by the side of the road for a few minutes and enjoyed the view. We also saw that there are a few places where you can stop along the road. In them there are some restaurants and infrastructure made to take pictures. To continue with our road trip, we went back towards Sapa and drove to Sun World, where the cable car for the highest peak of Indochina, Fansipan, is. The cable car complex is huge, and before taking it we walked past a small town where we got some sweet potatoes, a temple, and then finally arrived at the cable car station. We got our ticket online, but there wasn't any line there, so it would have been possible to get them there without waiting for hours. However, as it was the weekend, we had to pay an additional fee. With lots of hope, we took the cable car up the mountain. We were alone in it, which was super cool, but when we arrived on top, it was even worse than down there. The weather was terrible, we couldn't see anything and were completely in the clouds. Once out of the cable car, there is a massive complex made of exhibition, restaurant and shop. Once out in the open, the ascent starts. After the first set of stairs, we came by a first temple and a pagoda. As the summit is still quite a hike up, Tina went back down and I continued up. Along my journey to summit Fansipan, I came along another temple and a Buddha statue. Well, at least it's what I saw. In the end, I made it to the summit, where visibility was still extremely low. Couldn't see further than a few meters away. After helping a group of people taking pictures, I headed back down to meet Tina and take the cable car down. My thought on that is the whole thing is too touristy and we are not sure how often a year you get a nice view. We wouldn't recommend doing it unless you have a pure blue sky down in Sapa. We then drove back to Sapa city center and had lunch at the Ladybird Hotel Coffee and Restaurant. Tina had a vegetarian pho and I had the stuffed tofu. Once again in Vietnam, the food was delicious. As we still had some time, we strolled in Sapa, walked by the lake, bought some snack and withdrew money. Next, we drove back to our accommodation where we returned the scooter, took a nice hot shower and chilled with the view from our bungalow. However, today was much colder and cloudier, so we didn't stay out too long and later on went for dinner. Today we decided to chill in the morning and then return to Hanoi in the afternoon. However, our plan of chilling on our terrace with a view didn't happen, as it was super foggy, cloudy and really cold. By 11:30, we then checked out and took a taxi to the city center of Sapa. We opted to try out Phong Dong Vegan, where we started our lunch with 2 fresh coconuts and also received complimentary tea. We later on also ordered 1 colorful rice and 1 noodle soup, which were both delicious. And Tina couldn't resist to the fruit plate as dessert. The place was small but the food was delicious and we would definitely recommend it. Around noon, the weather cleared out. Yet, it was still a bit misty and there wasn't a pure blue sky, but it was so much better than in the morning. By 2:05, we were waiting at the church, our van back to Hanoi. It arrived at the same time as us. 2 people were already in it and 2 came a few minutes later. However, we then waited 30 minutes for 2 more people. What happened is that they regrouped 2 vans into one, the 2:30 p.m. and the 3 p.m. into one. The first part wasn't easy for Tina as the road was curvy and downhill, but she made it. At 3:30 p.m. we made our first break, 10 minutes as we were late. It was the same station as on the way there. By 6:15 we made a second 20-minute break, by 7:25 we arrived at the airport and by 8:15 we were finally in our hotel in Hanoi. We checked in, received a little banana bread and lemon water, and that was all for the day. Time to rest and get ready for the cruise. If you too are planning a trip to Vietnam, we made a little something to help you. The Vietnam Travel Map. This digital map includes all our pins from our 3-week travel in Vietnam, as well as all our preparation pins for southern Vietnam. Therefore, our Vietnam map includes all the places we visited: Hanoi, Sapa, Ha Long Lan Ha Bay, Tam Coc Ninh Bi, Hue and Hoi An, as well as all our preparation for Phong Nha, Nha Trang, Da La, Mue Ne, Ho Chi Minh City and Phu Quoc. The best reason to get this map is that you won't need to spend time pinning all ours and others tips and recommendations. Instead, you will get the full map from this destination for online and offline use. So check it out with the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Support us by subscribing to our channel, leaving a comment or liking the video.